Today we're answering the question at hand. Does linking all my sites help SEO? By the end of this video, you'll discover a proven framework for building sustainable website traffic that doesn't rely on quick fixes or temporary hacks. You'll discover not only how to create content that continues driving traffic months or even years after publication, but also how to master the art of internal linking that turns casual visitors into loyal readers. Most importantly, you'll discover how to build a self-reinforcing traffic system that grows stronger and stronger over time, even when individual traffic sources fluctuate.
The world is made up of people with either killer instincts or without killer instincts. And the people that seem to emerge are the people that are competitive and driven and with a certain instinct to win.
Welcome back, Maverick Nation. Every day, millions of websites compete for attention online, yet most of them struggle to get any meaningful traffic. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't about knowing secret tricks or hacks. It's about understanding and implementing a fundamental framework for sustainable growth. Today, I'm going to share this framework with you. But before I dive in, we need to address a critical mindset shift that must happen if you want to succeed in building lasting web traffic. Most content creators approach traffic generation like they're hunting for viral hits, creating content designed to spike quickly and generate immediate results. While this can work in the short term, it almost always leads to a frustrating cycle of creation, spike, decline, and starting over all over again. Think about like building a house. You could throw up some walls quickly to get shelter, but without a proper foundation, that structure won't last through the first storm. The same principle applies to web traffic. Quick fixes might give you a temporary boost, but they won't build the kind of sustainable traffic that grows your business over time. This is why I've developed what I call the Sustainable Traffic Framework. It's built on 3 core pillars that work together to create a self-reinforcing system. Each pillar strengthens the others, creating a compound effect that builds momentum over time. The first pillar is content strategy, but not in the way most people think about it. When I talk about content strategy, I'm talking about understanding the fundamental difference between content that provides temporary value and content that provides permanent value. This distinction is crucial because it determines whether your content will continue driving traffic months or even years after publication, or whether it will fade into obscurity after an initial burst of attention. Permanent value content addresses underlying principles, core concepts, and foundational knowledge in your field. It's the kind of content that remains relevant regardless of current trends or temporary market shifts. For example, if you're in the digital marketing space, content about the psychology of customer decision-making would be considered permanent value content. The principles of human psychology don't change dramatically over time, making this content evergreen. In contrast, temporary value content might focus on current trends, specific platforms, specific tactics, or time-sensitive information. While this type of content can drive significant short-term traffic, it requires constant updating or replacement to maintain its relevance. A successful content strategy needs both types of content, but the key is understanding how to balance them effectively. I've found that the most successful websites maintain a content portfolio where about 60% focus on permanent value topics, while 40% address more timely, temporary value subjects. This ratio provides enough stability to maintain consistent traffic while still allowing you to capitalize on current trends and timely opportunities. But creating the right mix of content is just the beginning. How you structure and present that content is equally important. This is where most content creators make a critical mistake. They create content in isolation without considering how different pieces of content can work together to create a more valuable whole. Instead, think of your content as an interconnected web of knowledge. Each piece should naturally lead to related topics or practical applications and deeper insights. This creates what I call content depth, which is the ability for visitors to continuously discover new, relevant information as they explore your site. For example, if you have a core piece of content about social media marketing strategy, it should naturally connect to more specific topics like audience research, content calendars, engagement tactics, and measurement methods. Each of these topics then branches out to even more specific subjects, creating layers of valuable information that keep visitors engaged and coming back for more. This interconnected approach to content leads us naturally to one of the most crucial yet often misunderstood aspects of building sustainable traffic: your site's internal link structure. Think of internal links as pathways guiding visitors through your content ecosystem. But unlike simple navigation, effective internal linking is about creating meaningful connections that enhance understanding and provide additional context. When you're building your internal link structure, think like a master tour guide leading someone through a vast museum. Each exhibit, or in our case, piece of content, should naturally lead to related exhibits that deepen the visitor's understanding or answer their next logical questions. This isn't about randomly connecting pages. It's about creating purposeful journeys through your content. For example, when discussing a complex topic like content marketing, you might start with a comprehensive overview. Within that overview, you'll naturally mention concepts like keyword research, content planning, and distribution strategies. Each of these mentions becomes an opportunity to guide readers to more detailed content about these specific topics. But here's the key. These links shouldn't feel forced or promotional. No, they should feel like helpful suggestions that enhance the reader's understanding. This structured approach to internal linking doesn't just benefit your visitors, it also strengthens your site's overall authority in the search engines. When you create these meaningful content connections, you're essentially building a knowledge graph that search engines can understand and value. Makes sense, right? This leads to better rankings across your entire site, not just for individual pages, but internal linking is only one piece of the puzzle. To build truly sustainable traffic, you need to think about external links as well. However, this is where many websites go wrong. They focus on quantity over quality, trying to accumulate as many backlinks as possible without considering the context or relevance of those links. The key to effective external link building isn't about numbers, it's about relevance and authority. Think about it this way. A single link from a highly respected source in your industry can drive more valuable traffic than dozens of links from irrelevant or low quality sites. This is because high quality links do more than just direct traffic to your site. They transfer trust and authority. Building these valuable external links requires a fundamentally different approach than what most people teach. Instead of focusing on outreach tactics or link building techniques, start by creating what I call link-worthy assets. These are pieces of content that naturally attract links because they provide unique value to your industry. Link-worthy assets can take many forms, but they all share one common characteristic. They offer something that isn't easily found elsewhere. This could be original research, unique insights from your experience, comprehensive guides that connect the dots in new ways, or tools and resources that solve common problems in your industry. For example, rather than creating another basic guide about a topic in your field, consider conducting original research that reveals new insights, or create a comprehensive resource that connects different aspects of your industry in ways that haven't been done before. These types of content naturally attract links because they provide value that other content creators want to reference and share with their audiences. The beauty of this approach is that it creates a virtuous cycle. As you build more link-worthy assets, you attract more high-quality links. These links not only drive direct traffic, but also increase your site's authority, which leads to better search engine rankings. Better rankings drive more traffic, giving you more opportunities to create valuable content and attract more links. This brings us to what might be the most crucial aspect of building sustainable traffic: audience retention. Getting visitors to your site is one thing, but keeping them engaged and coming back is what truly builds long-term success. Think of it like this. Traffic without retention is like trying to fill a bucket with holes. You can pour as much water as you want, but without fixing those holes, you'll never keep it full. The key to retention lies in understanding what I call the engagement journey. This isn't just about creating good content. It's about creating an experience that grows more valuable the longer someone stays with your site. Each visit should build upon previous visits, creating deeper understanding and stronger connections to your content. Let me explain how this works in practice. When someone first visits your site, they're usually looking for a specific piece of information or a solution to a problem. But if you've structured your content correctly, they'll discover related insights that expand their understanding of the topic. This creates what I call a discovery momentum, which is a natural progression from one valuable piece of content to the other. Creating discovery momentum requires careful attention to content presentation. It's not enough just to have great content. It needs to be presented in a way that makes connections obvious and exploration natural. This is where many websites fall short. They create excellent individual pieces of content, but fail to connect them in ways that create this discovery momentum. Think about how museums curate their expeditions. They don't just put artwork on walls randomly. They create thoughtful progressions that tell stories and build understanding. Your content should work the same way. Each piece should naturally lead to others, creating a journey of discovery that keeps visitors engaged and coming back for more. This is where your distribution strategy becomes crucial. Distribution isn't just about getting your content in front of people. It's about getting it in front of the right people at the right time in their journey. This requires understanding content consumption cycle. The content consumption cycle has three main phases: discovery, engagement, and deepening. In the discovery phase, people are becoming aware of your content for the first time. This is where your initial distribution efforts focus, getting your content in front of new audiences through search engines, social media, and other channels. The engagement phase is where people start actively consuming your content. This is where your internal linking structure and content presentation becomes crucial. You need to make it easy for visitors to find related content that builds upon what they're currently reading or viewing. The deepening phase is where casual visitors become loyal audience members. This is when people start to see your site as a go-to resource for information in your field. They don't just visit when they have a specific question. They come to learn and explore. Each of these phases requires different approaches to content distribution and presentation. For example, content for the discovery phase should be easily digestible and provide clear value quickly. Content for the engagement phase can be more detailed and comprehensive, while content for the deepening phase might explore more complex or nuanced topics. This strategic approach to content distribution and audience retention creates traffic resilience, which is the ability of your site to maintain and grow traffic even when individual traffic sources fluctuate. This is fundamentally different from the typical approach of chasing traffic from any available source. Now, let's talk about implementation, because understanding these concepts is only valuable if you know how to apply them effectively. Implementation is where most traffic building efforts fail, not because the strategies are wrong, but because the approach to implementation isn't systematic enough. The key to successful implementation lies in what I call progressive optimization. Instead of trying to perfect everything at once, you focus on improving one element at a time, measuring the results, and then moving on to the next area. This creates a compound effect where each improvement builds upon previous ones. The first step in implementation is establishing your content foundation. This doesn't mean creating huge amounts of content immediately. Instead, focus on creating cornerstone content, which are comprehensive pieces that establish your expertise and provide clear value to your audience. These pieces will serve as the backbone of your site's content structure. When creating cornerstone content, focus on topics that have evergreen potential. These are subjects that remain relevant over time, but can be updated and expanded as your industry evolves. For example, if you're in the digital marketing space, a piece about fundamental marketing principles would be cornerstone content, while a piece about specific platform features might not. Once you have your cornerstone content in place, the next step is building your content ecosystem. This involves creating supporting content that expands on specific aspects of your cornerstone pieces. Think of it like building a city. Your cornerstone content forms the main districts, while supporting content creates the neighborhoods and streets that make the city functional and interesting. This is where your internal linking strategy becomes crucial. Each piece of supporting content should connect naturally to your cornerstone content and to other related pieces. But these connections need to be meaningful and helpful to your audience. Random or forced links can actually harm the user experience and diminish your site's authority. Now, let's talk about measuring effectiveness, because without proper measurement, you can't know if your strategies are working. But here's where many people go wrong. They focus on surface level metrics like page views or time on site, without considering engagement depth indicators. Engagement depth indicators are metrics that show how deeply people are engaged with your content ecosystem. These might include things like the number of pages visited in a single session, the progression through related content pieces, or the return rate of visitors. These metrics tell you more about the effectiveness of your content strategy than simple traffic numbers. Make sense? Yes. For example, if someone visits your site and reads 3 related articles in a logical progression, that's more valuable than someone who bounces between random pages before leaving. This type of engaged behavior indicates that your content ecosystem is working as intended, creating those discovery momentum pathways we discussed earlier. Another crucial aspect of implementation is content iteration. This isn't just about updating old content. It's about evolving your content based on how your audience interacts with it. Pay attention to where people enter your site, how they move through your content, and where they tend to leave. This information tells you where to focus your optimization efforts. Content iteration should follow the value enhancement cycle. This means regularly reviewing your content to identify opportunities for adding more value. This could involve expanding on topics that generate the most engagement, creating new connections between popular content pieces, or discovering new content to fill gaps in your audience's journey. Remember, building sustainable traffic is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about creating systems and processes that compound over time rather than chasing quick wins. Each piece of content you create, each link you build, and each optimization you make should contribute to the overall strength of your site's traffic generating capability. The success of your traffic building efforts ultimately depends on your ability to implement these strategies systematically and consistently. The first thing to understand is that building sustainable traffic isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. This means creating systems that can scale with your growth. Start by establishing your content rhythm. This isn't just about posting regularly. It's about maintaining a sustainable pace that allows you to create high-quality content consistently. Your content rhythm should align with your resources and capabilities. It's better to publish one exceptional piece of content every 2 weeks than to rush out mediocre content every day. Quality truly matters when you're building for the long term. Remember, every piece of content you publish becomes a permanent part of your site's ecosystem. Make sure it's something worth keeping, right? As you move forward with implementation, remember that consistency is more important than perfection. It's better to maintain a steady rhythm of good content than to publish perfect content sporadically. Your audience needs to know they can rely on you for regular, valuable information. Finally, always keep the long-term perspective in mind. The strategies I've shared aren't quick fixes. They're foundational approaches that build lasting results. Be patient with the process. Trust in the system and keep focusing on providing genuine value to your audience. If you found value in today's breakdown, do me a quick favor, smash that like button, subscribe, click the bell, and select all notifications so you get notified when I post new videos with more insights into digital marketing strategies and tactics. It might seem small, but it helps push this video to others who are struggling with their traffic goals. If you're ready to stop being invisible online and start seeing real results from your digital marketing efforts, then I invite you to request a free digital marketing audit from us, Digital Mavericks Media. The link in the description will take you directly to our site, or you can simply type the URL into your browser, digitalmavericksmedia.com, or scan the QR code if you're watching on a desktop, computer, or TV screen. Don't let another day pass while your competitors capture the customers that should be yours. We've got an entire team of SEO Mavericks here ready to optimize your site, your content, while driving thousands of new eyeballs to your site every day. If you're interested in buying leads from us to generate new customers and grow your email list really fast, fill out the form on digitalmavericksmedia.com. Remember, building sustainable traffic isn't about following the crowd. It's about building something that lasts. So keep showing up, keep implementing what you're learning in my videos, and I will see you in the next video right over here.